Hey everybody, happy week 3. Oh my goodness, it's hard to believe it is October. What in the world is going on? Time is just zipping past. First of all, kudos to all of you. You are doing a fabulous job with your discussions. I'm impressed. Also, I hope you can see that the many posts that you're required to enter are not only replicating our in-class discussions, they are also helping you practice your writing skills. So with these informal, point-driven posts, I would encourage you to start to develop an academic voice. Get a little bit away from your more casual responses to your peers, and really use these posts as opportunities to increase the complexity of your vocabulary and your sentence structures. So I would encourage you to practice that in these low stakes assignments. A low stakes assignment is one that doesn't have a grade of ABC on it. A low stakes assignment is point driven, and it's point driven to enable you to make mistakes, to practice, so without having a lot on the line. Okay, so this week you can see I'm in student view right now, so this is what your screen will look like. Here, of course, the very screencast that I'm making will be posted right here, giving you kind of the heads up for the week. So you've got a discussion coming up where we kind of complicate and zero in on the definition of appropriation or cultural appropriation. And remember that the second stage of stasis theory, the first stage might be what are the facts. The second stage might be, well, what's the nature of the thing? How is it defined? Many, if not most, arguments are going to be revolving around some kind of stated or unstated definition of terms. All right, so that is the kind of the last discussion or engagement with the food ways articles. Then we move to a component that is about summarizing. You're getting ready to kind of practice the art of summarizing. You've now had chances to kind of get in touch with your writer's voice and get a sense of how much summarizing is really involved in kind of everyday academic writing. There's a quiz that's coming up on chapter 2. It has a slight review of chapter 1. But chapter 2 is the art of summarizing. You're absolutely going to want to read that. I think I've made every component open, like its opening date is today, but of course that just gives you access to it so that you can look ahead and see what you might want to engage with before their deadlines. After the quiz, we head into a section on summaries. How do you write them? How are they graded? I give you a set of a whole bunch of student samples for you to look at. Some are thin and not very, comprehensive, and some might be overly detailed. And you can get a sense of, by reading the article that the students used that quarter, you can get a sense of how they summarized and what was in it and what was left out. So you'll want to glance through that article. It's kind of a cell phone surveillance article. It's really interesting, and students, when I first used it, students responded heartily to it. So I think you'll find it interesting, even though you're not going to be using that one to write your response on. Okay, so then I've also got, not only do I have all the instructions, I have a screencast where I go over the instructions. I would encourage you, every time I include a screencast where I walk you through the instructions, I think that's doubly helpful because I clarify things that you might just read in kind of a one-dimensional way when you look at the written instructions. We've got a discussion getting ready for your formally evaluated summary response assignment. It sort of helps you brainstorm what article you think you're going to use and how you're going to approach it. I also want to point out that there is a sort of self-paced, and I'm saying that because the core concepts test that on all these things, these logical fallacies, is not due until October 15th. So you don't have to finish these, go through all these before the end of the week. You can, and then if you want to, go ahead and go take the core concept. I'm only calling it a midterm because for some reason in English 145 we're required to have a midterm, and I just want to say it's really more of a test. It's a 20 question test with multiple, what is it? There's all the answers in an answer bank, and all you need to do is pick them out. I give you a study guide right here, study guide, list of fallacies and terms. If it's not on this study guide, it will not be on the core concepts test. These are little individual mini lectures or little screencasts. I don't know how long they are, 14, 15, 13. They're kind of long. I mean, I'd probably lecture that long and show these in class in this length of time, 14 minutes at a time. But you can go through them at your own speed. Obviously, if you think 14 minutes is too long, then watch 5 minutes and then pick it back up and watch 5 more minutes and then watch 5 more minutes, okay? But if you can gut it out, sit and watch the 14 minutes. That's the first of 4, the second of 4, the third of 4, and the fourth of 4. And then it leads you right to the test. All right, but the test is actually not coming up until, look at the date, October 15th. Today's only October 3rd. So you have a lot of time. That's why I'm calling it self-paced. If you're the type that's like, hey, it's still kind of early in the quarter, I should do this while I have the time, because if I put it off to week 4, things might start cranking up in my other classes. So I'm giving you lots of time to do these. You might want to go through them one time and then maybe go through them again right before you take the midterm. I'm calling it a midterm, sorry, it's really only 20 questions. It's worth 15% of your, I think 15% of the course grade. So it's not a killer, it's not like a real midterm, it just has to be called a midterm, and I call it a core concepts test. So you've got a lot going on this week. You've got some quizzes, some discussion type homeworks. You've got some things that you can do on your own. Some of these looking at some of these different, like look at this, rank these student summaries. I tell you here's the actual articles. Colleges are turning students' phones into surveillance machines, tracking locations of hundreds of thousands. I also created it as a numbering the paragraphs, so that might be easier for you to read. Yes, and then what I would do, there are 17 summaries that students actually created in Zoom rooms. So this is kind of coming from back in the day. Well, God, that's not that long ago. But you can kind of see the way the summaries are put together, which are strong and which are weak. But use the rubric so you'll be able to see on your own, how did these students put together their summaries and do they meet the criteria of the rubric? Okay. So there's a lot going on this week. I think that you're going to enjoy the content. There's a lot of it. Don't let it, freak you out, especially this section on the logical fallacies. You do have more time for that. But just to tell you, I'm giving it to you in advance so that you can pace it out yourself. Again, let me repeat. If you're kind of like, hey, things haven't started getting crazy in my other classes yet, then maybe you should go ahead and do the logical fallacies component and take the core concepts test. Get it over with before it's competing with, tests and midterms and stuff that'll be coming up in your other coursework and in our class as well. Okay, and then at the very end, of course, you know that every week I have a little wrap up that tell you kind of where you've been, where you started, where you ended up at the end of the week. All right, everybody, this is exciting. We are starting to kind of turn the corner from, just sort of getting our bearings for this class, and now to start cranking up the productivity. Thank you all for your hearty and just encouraging participation. I'm proud of all of you. You make me feel so encouraged for just how brilliant you are and how brave you are. So thank you so much for your hard work. I know we don't ever meet in person, but if I did meet you in person, I would be telling you, I'd be gushing right now and telling you how proud I am of all your hard work. Okay, everybody, have a terrific week 3. I'm with you.